but also in terms of how we went after solving crimes. The FBI looks at 6 crimes, what they call Part 1 crimes. These are the major crimes: homicide, burglary, robbery, motor vehicle theft, larceny, arson. Now, in each of those Part 1 crimes, they keep average on how you do in solving those crimes. How do you think Windsor does in each of those crimes compared to the national average? We are higher in every one. Our clearance rate in each of those is higher than the national average. In fact, sometimes it's embarrassingly higher. Burglaries, for instance, and I'll stick to burglaries because to me, that is the most troublesome property crime you can have. For someone to come home and find out that someone has been inside their home, going through their belongings, it's seriously traumatic. It's as if their home has been raped. And that is a bad thing. And to literally go to almost a burglary every day, back when I first started, to when there's a burglary now, we send the cavalry. And we do collect DNA evidence. And Detective Neary didn't talk about it much, but she's primarily responsible for that because she did a simple training class. It's not CSI, but it doesn't take a PhD. I can do it, to collect DNA evidence. And we have, and I don't know this to be true, but I doubt anyone around here has made more DNA arrests than we have. It is amazing. Now, I'm good at finding evidence. We had some storage sheds broken into, and there have been some guys going all over the state killing the storage sheds. And I went there and I was like, you gotta be kidding me. We got killed. And I was with Lieutenant Francis, who was on one of those pictures with me. And we had already looked at the scene and everybody went there. And I was like, there gotta be something. We went walking through and we went all out, way out in the woods. And we found a hat. I was like, the heck is this hat? And our evidence tech, Eddie Benezia, said, I can get DNA out that head. I was like, this ain't CSI, I didn't take this hat. He got a DNA hit off that hat, sweat. And we made an arrest of a person, what, a year and a half later?
We cleared 35 other cases.
35 other cases for other times. By picking up a hat out in the woods. And that's the type of really dogged tenacity that I expect us to have when we're going out after crime. Just to give you an example, in 2004, and I don't want to go back too far, the town of Windsor had like 39,000, and I'll give you the exact numbers here, had 39,165 calls for service. In 2007, last year, we had 52,000, let me give you the exact number. I'll get it for you in 1 minute here. Oh, 52,732. And you see how calls for service have risen? And despite those calls going up, we've still managed to keep our crime. And sometimes I wonder how going down. It is really amazing that and the only crime that really did go up was our larcenies, and it went up slightly by a total of 34, and that's primarily due to all the new retail that we have in town, added in town over that time. Target, Price Chopper 24 hours, CVS open, and I know you guys might love the convenience of a 24-hour store, but we don't like it. That's 24/7, and somebody's coming in there to get something. I mean, if someone just went and stole from Price Chopper once a week, that's 52 extra larcenies right there. And it is very difficult to prevent shoplifting. One of the things that we do, and I'll just give you an idea, on a weekly basis, I can receive this report right here, and this gives me a brief overview of how we've done and what has happened. It shows me every burglary we've had, every call for service we've had. But this last page here is the most important to me, and what this shows is what we did directed. We have self-directed activity that we decide to do ourselves, and then there's activity where you call for us. And the self-directed activity is most important because I believe that's how we prevent crimes. For instance, we have burglary patrols, what we call burglary patrols, robbery patrols that's going by checking your businesses, and walking beats. And for last week, we did 339 of those. Then traffic stops is also directed, which we like, you know. We did 396 of those. Now, statistically speaking, we stop more cars than any other town, regardless of size, in the state of Connecticut. And we really believe that that impacts. Some of you have, you been stopped? Then you really need to wait for this tip I'm gonna give you at the end of this. And one of the things is burglars, robbers, they drive cars. And the reputation, I can't tell you how many times we've arrested people and Detective Neri will verify this, and they'll say, I knew I should not have come to Windsor. And we say, too bad. You should have followed your thoughts. They will say that. We hear that over and over again. I should not have come there, and because they don't want to be stopped. The likelihood of them being stopped is greater here, literally, than anywhere else. And it is, sometimes I look at the size of some of the other communities in the state, and I say, how did we stop that many cars? And we are constantly out all over the place stopping cars, and a lot of these increased numbers are self-initiated numbers like that. One of the things we did as a cost-saving initiative, you as taxpayers is each officer has to get out of their car 4 times a day, turn their car off, and walk for 15 minutes minimum each time. So that's a minimum of 1 hour. So that car is going to be off. So we, as far as return is concerned, we're killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Number 1, we're going to save fuel by turning that car off. Number 2, and more importantly, the officer's going to get out and get into the community and try and develop rapport with you, and also serve as a visual deterrent to crime. To show you how that's working, we started this in July. And I don't focus on so much how much gas we save, which we did save, and now you get that when we do our budget report. But in terms of, I wanted to reduce our shoplifting, our larcenies. In each month, July, August, and September, when we did it this summer, our larcenies were down significantly, almost cut in half. And not only were our larcenies were down, our thefts from vehicles were down. So we impacted crime, saved gas, and got out, and hopefully you were able to see some more officers walking in your community.
A little bit of exercise too.
And got some good exercise. Because what happens is you start walking, and as luck will always have it, you're way on that end, and the call surge, you got to get back to the car. And it always seems to happen. But I don't want to bore you with too many numbers, and the chief says that I like to brag, but I really just like telling the truth. And I really am extremely proud of the work that we do here in Windsor, and it is you are responsible for some of it, because you as business owners, if you didn't call when you saw a suspicious person, if you didn't do some of the things already that you've seen posted here, we wouldn't catch as many people. We have caught people because of video presentations. And even though we want a full picture, again, Detective Neri will tell you, we saw the bank robbery off of a hand. A person said, I know that hand.
Yep.
Am I right?
Yep.
We couldn't believe it.
It's a very distinct hand.
It was, but when the person called in, I know that hand. And at the time, she was out spending the money in Cleveland, but when she came back, we got her. It was a female who did a bank robbery. In fact, the only female bank robbery we had since I've been here 19 years. And those are things, having good video, even if you have a dummy, like you said, it's a visual deterrent. If I come in and I see the camera, I don't know that it's not working, unless you tell me. Having signs up saying video surveillance, those type of things do deter, and and you want to make your place as safe as possible so that they go somewhere else. And we really try to make our town as safe as possible. We look for crime trends. If there are burglaries occurring in other parts of the state, Michelle will tell you, I'm sending an email, because we get what's called C-ticket reports. She and I have to have shared duties as the liaison officers with the Connecticut, and what that is Connecticut Intelligence Center. There you go. The Connecticut Intelligence